So basically, just to sum up everything we said, like a very short version, is that the first year we defined Eleikus, that Hashem is Echad, and Echad we defined Echad as unity. The way we explain unity is that two mishalim. The regular mashal is that a puzzle, there's a cover of the box, then you cut it up and you have a lot of pieces, and then you put it back together again. And that's the Bria. And Rebbeinu Shalom is the cover of the box. He's Echad before the Bria, and therefore the act of creation is the fragmentation. Well, it's not really fragmentation. Fragmentation is the hiding of unity. Like unity is not nicker. And pirud, that's what we call pirud. That's why Hester Panav and pirud is the same thing. Hester Panav is pirud. The hiding of Hashem. If Hashem is Echad, the hiding of Echad is multiplicity. The other mashal is that Hashem is white light, using light as a mashal, and then the Bria then is putting light through a prism. So the same thing as the puzzle, now you have colors. Right? And then the idea is that and then somehow you'd want to get back to white. You want to make everything white again. So there's Echad, Pirud, and Echad. The question at the end of the first year was, so that's beautiful. So now that's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We showed that's all pleasure. All pleasure is the experience of Echad. So the world really is Echad, and then everyone's trying to find it. Everyone's trying to experience Echad. That's the whole world. You know, we said everyone's looking for Echad. The problem with that is if that's Yiddishkeit, trying to get back to the Echad, then it lends itself more to like the kind of religion where it's hispatlus, negating yourself. Meaning if Hashem is white and we're colors, and you want to get back to Echad, then you have to go back to white. So everybody wants to go back through the prism, back to where it's Echad. So how do you get to white from colors? What's the process to get to white from colors? Bleach. You want to get rid of your zich. And that's the idea why religion is spotless, fasting, silence, the guf, your thoughts, your emotions, all of that's the Yetzer Hara, in that kind of view. And that's why religions like to do meditation and fasting. It's all about Hashem is Echad and we're not Echad, and the way you get back to Echad is getting rid of your zich. And then we were Mechadish. That's the second share.
What does Zech mean?
Self. Get rid of yourself. It's just get rid of yourself. So now, we said that the second share was that first year is called unity. Unity has that problem. And the way we said it was that the problem of unity is also that there's no personal God. You could say that there's a God, and I'm trying to experience God by making everything one, but that's not a personal God. It's not a God why do you daven to Echad? Echad cares about you, Echad, you have a relationship with Echad. Your whole point to get to Echad is to get rid of yourself. It's actually the opposite of a relationship. Right? He's white, and he created colors only for what? That you should get rid of the colors and go back to the white. So that means your purpose of life is I learned up the Akedah like that. That's really Avram's thinking by the Akedah. Is that the way to get to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is to get rid of all of yourself. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu then says, no, I don't want that. Which is the second share. The second share is harmony. Harmony is, when you're picturing the color mashal, it's very easy to see. There's white, and then you create colors. Picture a box of crayons. That's bad. That's not Echad, all the colors. And what you might think is to go back to Echad. No, you don't have to go back to Echad. You could stay on this side of the prism and take all the colors and make art. Art is also Echad. Or if you change the whole mashal to sound, it's even better. There's silence or white sound, and then you divide it into notes or instruments. And instead of going back to silence, just make music, make a symphony. And that's harmony. Harmony is a second version of Echad. What's the difference between unity and harmony? Is that in harmony, all of the pieces are still there. You don't disappear. You're part of the symphony. You're one of the colors in the artwork. So if we see that as the world, then that's how we come out. And that's the difference between these two approaches to Hashem, is the difference between Yud Kei Vav Kei and Elokim. Yud Kei Vav Kei is Hashem as white light, as perfect oneness, existence, pure existence, just without shape, just total Ein Sof. And the way you experience Yud Kei Vav Kei is the loss of self. That's Lo Yorani Ha'adam Achai. Moshe says, Hashem, let me see you. And Hashem says, you can't see me and live. It's impossible. It's impossible to experience Echad. You don't exist in Echad. You're a prat. There's no pratim in Echad. There's no colors in Echad. There's no individuality in Echad. But Elokim, we explained that Elokim is harmony. That's why Elokim is a plural word. How do you have a plural word for God? Hashem's Yud Mem means something is plural. Hashem's an Echad. How do you have a plural Echad? It's so counterintuitive. And the answer is there is a plural Echad, and that's called harmony. So Hashem Elokim is unity and harmony. Unity is white, harmony is music. What's the difference between unity and harmony? Everything's the difference. The whole Yiddishkeit is a result of harmony. The idea that, because we're here to create Echad, but the way you create Echad in harmony is everything has to fit. Not to bleach everything, but to make everything fit. And that's it. Kol HaTorah Kula is the attempt to make the music. And that's what they experienced by Har Sinai. Har Sinai was Royim as Akoiles was the symphony. They saw how the entire universe, every single thing fits. That also explains what we call like a personal, when you have a relationship to Hashem. What does it mean, relationship to Hashem? If the world is harmony, and he's supposed to make music, so what does that mean about me? What am I? Hashem designed every single prat. I'm a unique instrument. I have a role in the symphony that Hashem designed me meticulously. Everything in my life matters. I'm like totally designed by Hashem. Hashem is intention. I can talk to Hashem. I'm not an accident. I'm not something to erase. I'm something that Hashem is watching to make sure I play my part. The world is not going to exist without me being me. The symphony needs all the instruments to be there. Okay, that was what we said last time. We're up to date. You have the whole thing. That's Hashem and Elokim. There's more to say, but that stuff we come back to afterwards. I'll just add one thing. This is normally the third share. I'm just going to say it in 1 minute. It's if you don't chop it, it's not clear, then just don't worry about it. It's just to be fair, to be honest. I'm going to maybe explain it a little bit in the share I'm giving now, but I don't want to get too philosophical anymore. So I'm just going to get it out of the way. If you think about it like harmony or unity, well, unity, not going to see this much, but harmony, what are you really experiencing? Like if you were to get nitty-gritty, what the pleasure is. Why should harmony be pleasurable? What is it about harmony that makes it good? So the question is a weird question. Not going to be able to understand what I want. I'll tell you what the answer is, and you'll understand what I'm asking. The answer is that harmony is not really a pleasure. What it is existence. All pleasure is by definition of pleasure is the experience of being, of existing. That's how existing feels. If you don't exist, you have no pleasure, and you exist. Whatever existence you have is pleasurable. Everything is small little existence. Nobody totally exists. An apple is just an apple. An orange is an orange. An apple is the experience of an apple is the experience of whatever an apple is. You eat an apple, you enjoy that part of existence. You eat an orange, you enjoy that part of existence. So what does harmony do? Harmony allows me to experience more existence at one time. I make an apple orange ices. Now I can have apple orange. Harmony just is the tool that allows you to have more existence. That's why harmony is appealing. So the first share I call unity, the second share I call harmony, and the third share I call existence, which is just, it clicks after, you don't have to go through everything over again. It's just, test it, ask me a question, think about it, let's just test it to make sure we have it. The pleasure is, what?
A song with more notes has more pleasure than a song with less notes?
Yeah, it's much better. It's a song with, it's the same song with more, or better with instruments, right? Hearing a song on a flute is nice. When you hear it with a violin and a trumpet, it's the same song with more. But
Why do most things not mix well? Most sounds don't fit nicely with other sounds. It's because they have a song.
well, that's before existence. That's what harmony is. That's the science of harmony. The science of harmony is how to make things echad. Not everything goes together perfectly, right?
What's
But
that?
when you succeed at getting the rest, cholent, when you succeed at making a good cholent, so now you're experiencing a whole new bria, not just beans and barley separately. It's a new thing.
When more is less, that means we just didn't know how to figure out how to put that more.
Hashem is
away.
everything. Hashem is everything. Totality. So He experiences everything. Once you fragment it, every single thing in the world is a little piece of existence.
Right, but sometimes you put a challenge, you're putting in too much stuff. That just means you don't know how to do it.
Oh yeah, the only way to experience more existence, if you don't get it together, then you didn't create more existence. You might even have lost what you had because it doesn't go together. The secret is to figure out how to harmonize. I'll say one thing now, just don't hold me to it. It needs a little more work, but I'll explain what Olam Haba is, just so you understand and get a taste of one way to understand Olam Haba. And this is a good way to think of it, is that because everything we're saying here is Olam Haza. Understand? The whole purpose of Yiddishkeit, according to all this, is Olam Haza. You want to experience the harmony here in this life, and the Torah is the harmony. So what do you need Olam Haba for? What's the answer to that question? Right? If the whole idea is hispatelos, is white light unity, then it makes sense what Olam Haba is. Over here, you erase yourself, and somehow in Olam Haba you experience oneness. It's not rational, but somehow in Olam Haba I could say, yes, even though I disappear in unity, in Olam Haba you feel it anyway. I don't know, you could have different rules, But when we're talking harmonies, now it makes sense right here. The reason why we do mitzvahs is to hear the world is a lot of crayons, and the Torah is art. And crayons are just colors, and art is beautiful. And that's why Hashem divided white into colors, so we could have art. But He did that for this world. So what's Olam Haba? What's more? What do you need more than that in Olam Haba? Right? So the answer is that, we go through life and we experience pleasure, existence, different pieces. I put things, I have a cholent, I have music, I have art. They're all groups. Say it like this, make it even more organized. There's two different types of pleasures. You see, here's a kasha. Here's a good kasha on the first two shiurim. Every pleasure makes sense. This is an exception someone should ask me. I went through the exceptions. I gave answers. No one asked. Well, I showed you how all pleasures oneness. So why didn't you ask, what's the pleasure of an apple? Yeah, so apple cake, cholent, is pleasurable. What's the pleasure of barley? Of one thing that's not harmonized. There is pleasure in individual components without unity. Does that make sense? So the answer is, in the final thing, it becomes clear. The real pleasure is not the unity. What's the pleasure? Existence. So the barley exists. It's a small pleasure. Unity allows me to have bigger pleasures than just individual components one at a time.
So pain could also be a way of existing. You can enjoy pain.
Well, pain's the absence of. Well, okay. I have to figure out what that is, but.
How is the spiritual pleasure of Kirisa Kim? Why are you saying that it's like an apple?
What does that mean?
The difference.
Well, I didn't get to Olam Haba yet. But I don't. I'm trying to do all these shurim without using words that we don't understand. I want to be able to see if we can explain things in language that we can grasp. So. Yeah, so you're using a phrase that we don't know what that means, so it just means bigger than this. So fine, I agree Olam Haba is bigger, but what is bigger? What's bigger than harmony? If we're saying here that you could put everything together here, you could, what we call livnas asafir, you could experience the unity, so what do you need Olam Haba for? So the answer is this: pleasure is existence. So life, you're experiencing two types of pleasures. Individual pleasures, barley pleasures, and then group pleasures, cholent pleasures. Right? Meeting, anything, meeting someone, you're meeting a new person, you're reading their book, you're getting their trip, who they are. Becoming friends with them is a harmony pleasure. Cholent, music, is notes, you can hear this. But, so let's say you go through life and you experience in 120 years a lot of existence. It's a lot of existence that you experience. The problem is, in this world, I don't have all the pleasure of all my existence. Why? I go to shul and I shake your hand. So just now we connected. So that was a little echad. Okay? I experienced this new existence. Then I shake his hand. I have to let go of his hand to shake his hand. I can shake 30 hands on a Friday night in shul. But every time I shake a hand, I have to let go of the previous one. So because our world has time and space, so because of that, you can only have one experience at a time. And even though let's say I somehow managed to go to every single state in the Union, or every country in the world, okay? I had to leave the other state to go to the new one. So I've experienced every part of existence, but I let go of the other one first. So at any moment of time, I'm still have a very small existence. What's the use of having experienced everything? The point is I don't have more joy. At any time, I'm only one little slice. The other one's gone. I had to move from Lakewood to the country for the summer. So the country's amazing. But I don't have double the pleasure. I have a different part of the pleasure. Does that make sense? You hear the kasha? You hear the problem? That's a fact, and that doesn't make sense. That's because this is what I mean. This is an alma de shikra. It's a fake world. Once I experienced a piece of existence, I took it into my life. I existed that. So why does it leave when I go somewhere else? Why do I have to let go of some? Why do I talk to one person, talk to another one? You're gone. I have memories, but it's not the same thing, and the memories fade. So the problem is that the world really isn't mishpat. Because of time and space, this world is not fair. You know what Olam Haba is? Olam Haba is the experience of every single one of your moments in your life, every single thing you ever had, stacked. There is no, imagine taking away time and space. So what are you going to have then? Every single time you ever smiled, every heritage that you had simultaneously. Every hand you ever shook, every book you ever read, every place you ever went, every food, every existence that you ever had simultaneously. And that's the oil ma'emes, because really I did do that. What's the mishpat? What's the fairest thing for me to experience? If Hashem was being totally fair, Hashem is existence, I want to experience Hashem. So he gave me a world where all the existence is broken. One by one, I went through each thing, I checked it off my list. I experienced everything he wanted me to experience. I still feel very small because I'm only having one thing at a time. I just kept on trading. But Lamaisa, in Svara, I had it. That's the difference between Olam Haba and Olam Haba. Olam Haba is the emes of your life. This world is sheker. So Olam Haba mamish is it. It's a fascinating thing to think about. Is Olam Haba the same as this world or different than this world? It's the exact same thing. It's just the real version of it. Meaning, I'm not getting prizes in Olam Haba for mitzvahs. Olam Haba, I'm experiencing my life. What do you know Olam Haba for? Because in this world, you're not experiencing your life. It's not that Olam Haba is bigger. Is this world smaller? Olam Haba is the real deal. Does that make sense? Olam Haba, I call it stacking is a good word to visualize it.
Simultaneous.
What?
You could simultaneously do more than one existence.
Which is what it shouldn't even be a word simultaneous. Basically, every single thing. I put money in the bank. It's supposed to be in the bank, right? Not supposed to get a paycheck every week and they take away my old one and put the new one in. How come it's not accumulating? Why isn't there accumulation? Right? It's a pella in this world. And that's the nature of this world, that existence is spread out over a makam and zman. So at any makam or zman, I'm only in that zman and that makam. But without makam and zman, or infinite makam and zman, everything's just real. And I just get bigger and bigger and bigger as I experience things. So really, you are the emes of you, and if you're looking from a Musar angle, it makes life very, very real. Like, Olam Haba and Gehenna and Olam Haba is the exact same place. Gehenna and Olam Haba is your room of all your shelves of every single thing that was available for you to experience. And the pleasure is the experience of everything you ever did. And the tsar is the awareness of all the things that were shaykh to you that you spaced out or you missed on. And you're a fraction of who you could have been. You know, so they're both simultaneous. That's true mishpat. True mishpat is
Missed out on like spiritually or just in general?
I don't know what spiritually means. You missed it.
out on
It's
your
existence.
physique also, or
What?
like-
To me, spiritual and physical, it's all existence. It was Hashem is everything. You're not everything. How much? What are you? You're a piece of everything. So your goal of life is to experience as much of your piece as possible.
I mean, this hell that you're talking about, it's a type of hell of like. I
It's a
could have
tsar.
another
It's a
doc,
crazy,
or what
crazy
kind-
tsar.
What is going to be on those books?
No, it's a tsar.
Yeah, sure.
It's the absence. This pleasure and pain is existence and absence. It's just that. It's just the lack of that you were much smaller than you could have been. It's not.
General awareness.
Yeah, but it's not just it's like an absence of a feeling
That
that
means
you could.
everybody's going to have Gehenna to some extent because
No one did everything.
it's the scientists say that you use like 1.1% of your brain and this and that.
Well, again, if you use 1.1% of your brain, it might be that the other parts that is not accessible. You know, there's a part of your brain that's useful and the part of brain that's not. You have to know why there's parts of brain that are not functioned, not being used. But just because you're not using something doesn't mean that it was possible for you to use it. That's what I'm saying. But you're right. The way you're saying it,
sounds pretty
the way
bad.
you're asking it is legitimate. You know. Okay, that's this share now. Let me do this share now. So that was really the third share, which we just did in a few minutes.
Are we able to break down what the enjoyment of existence is, what that pleasure is? Now that we say what it is, it seems like that's really the point. So what is that pleasure? Are we going to get to that? What is the pleasure of existing?
It's just if you just think about it, that's what all pleasure is. Think about it. What is pleasure? Pleasure is just the way. Why is it different from everything? It's the way this thing feels. So if oranges are good, and tortilla chips are good, and chicken is good, and I keep on adding in more things that are all good, what is all that good combined? That is what existence feels like. You know, not just physical existence, thoughts and ergation and music. Every single thing in the world has a way that it feels when it's right. That is that thing's experience. So if HaKadosh Baruch Hu was Echad and he fragmented it, that means all the fragments are all the things. So if I can somehow experience all the fragments, and I have all of God. The problem is that I have to have the harmony to make it to imach everything to have it together. And that's what allows things to get stacked. In Olam Haba is you need two things. That's what you need. You need to make it into an equation. You need two things. You need the experiences and the glue and the harmony. And in Olam Haba, you will experience all the pieces that you succeeded at harmonizing. And so you're creating not only the experience, but also the stacking. What harmony does, being ma'achid things does, is it creates the stacking. You decide how things will be stacked. And that's what we're doing in life. We're having the things with the stacking. Does that make sense? Yeah.
You're just picking the good experiences to discuss. There are experiences not
There
inherently
are
enjoyable.
there are no bad experiences. Bad experiences are the absence of experience, the inability to harmonize, where the rift remains.
You're counting emotional experiences as experience?
Yeah, so I don't know
it's
how
a
to.
bad emotional
If I care,
experience.
I'm only talking about emotional, intellectual. I don't know
Physical?
how to explain physical pain. I'm not clear enough on what physical pain is. Emotional pain, I can
Being
wrap my head
freezing
around.
cold.
What?
Being really cold.
So my body. So somehow it's. You see, if I'm emotionally cold, so I understand that it means I don't connect to you. I'm alone. Okay, and I understand. So it's not an experience of being cold that's bad. It's the lack of friendship and the loneliness I'm going to feel. Physical cold probably is a very similar thing. I'm just not in touch so much with my guf to say that I'm cold. Therefore, my body is. I'm not feeling in sync with my body. I'm so preoccupied. I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but it's going to be a similar kind of thing on a physical level. I can project that that's what it is, because intellectually I understand what coldness is and what it is to not join things together, and emotionally understand what it means. So, all pain, you have to understand, pain is not a thing. Pain is the absence of existence. If you have something that exists and it's not together, so it's a frustration, it's a loneliness, if you have data and you can't figure out the logic of it, you have music that's not harmonized, all these things bother us. It's not pain. It's the things are not harmonized. It's all the absence of echad. So all pain is the absence of God. If Hashem's echad, all pain is the absence of God, and all pleasure is the experience of God. But in the first two shiurim, it might have made it sound like it's all just that God is harmony. Now, Hashem's existence, harmony is the way you experience Hashem's existence. So that's the extra step. It gives more clarity. Does that make sense? It's not the harmony that's pleasurable. It's that's what allows you to experience all the parts. You can't experience the parts. The parts are the pleasure themselves. You can't experience the parts without the harmony. You got that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now let's do
Can't
today's.
exist without pleasure?
What?
Can't exist without pleasure?
You can't exist?
Yeah. You're explaining everything that you're existing with.
Yeah, well, I'm
pleasure,
just
but-
saying existence.
You could just sit and.
It's a semantic
space
question.
out and
I'm
down.
saying, like, so do I exist if I'm limited? Yeah, you exist. There's a lot of stuff. You have empty shelves, so that's limited in your existence. Your existence is just, you're very lean, right? If you're eating just bread and you don't eat all these things, is that called, in your language, would you be okay with calling it you have a lesser existence, a smaller existence? You know, we're going to see it now. Here's what comes clear. Here, it'll become clear this year. This year, maybe I should have saved this talk I just did for after this year, because this is a year when this is on. It's not philosophy so much; it's more
I'm just a
real.
little like, if pain's not a real thing and it's just the absence. Let's say if you, on like the lowest level, getting smacked in the face is more painful than just not being with someone else. But pain is a real thing.
I know. So
Like,
physical pain is hard. I don't know how to explain
it
physical pain.
that doesn't fit in.
No, I don't own it. You know, I
Your
can't.
body's not unified. If you
What?
get burned, you just lost a little piece of your body.
Yeah, but
It's
why?
not
So,
slack,
but it's
but
hard to
like-
say. It feels like lack.
Pain is a real thing.
Why can't physical pain just be the exception? Yeah,
What?
getting pinched.
There's no
hurts
exception.
physically.
It can't be exceptions.
Why?
Yeah, because you have to redefine the
Why does
the
it-
theory.
why does
There's
it
no
be
exception because
one-
everything has to fit.
Physical pain and emotional pain have to come from the same shirish? Why?
Yeah. Because then you have to create a whole new thing that we never even discussed. You still have to address
It's
it.
called sensory. It's sensory
And what are you sensing?
pain.
But we're saying all existence is elikos. So if it exists, it has to be good.
I don't have the passion to hear teretz.
So there's
Why do you
nothing
have
bad.
getting
Okay, I'm saying according to this.
Well,
Look
you're getting
at the guy's
weird
brain.
good because cells were just destroyed. It's absence. My kasha is that existence.
Inherently is good.
It's binary. There's existence and non-existence. All existence is good. All non-existence is bad. Because Hashem is everything. So that means if it's existence, it's God. And that means all non-existence is the absence of God. So it has to feel bad. So pleasure is the experience of what is, and pain is the experience of what isn't. So burning, it means that some part of me was incinerated. The question is, why does it should just feel absent. That's my kasha. Why does it hurt? I should feel the loss of whatever pleasure it was. So it could be
Physical
that
pain.
we don't chop with pleasures. Like the things that we already have becomes a baseline. And we aren't aware that it's pleasure. I'm really in the matzav of pleasure. That's where I am. When you take that away, it hurts. Because you took away something I was already experiencing. Now I'm only aware now that I was experiencing a certain kind of tranquility, a certain kind of nachas, and you took it away, now it hurts. You have to, the only thing I can't explain is the hurt of, and that's as far as to said it. You have to say that you're already at a baseline pleasure. You understand what I'm saying? You understand that answer? Mm-hmm. We'll think about it. Let's go weiter. Do Gan Eden. Start Gan Eden, okay? This is
You want to stop and start?
you want to stop and start. Stop and start. Stop.
Should stop and start?
Stop
This
and
is
start. Yeah. That was
part
sheer
1 and
through.
2
That was
recap.
5 minutes.
What?
This